And a sold-out Memorial Stadium, Lincoln, Nebraska, for what is the final appearance for 21 seniors at Osborne Field, many of whom have had championship ring after championship ring after championship ring. They had hoped for a fourth this year, but their last appearance at the stadium was a loss. They haven't been back in a month. They hope to start a new streak coming up today. What is the pride of Nebraska football, epitomized by their senior class and players like Joel Makovica, who will lead the 17th ranked Cornhuskers against the Colorado Buffaloes here today. Hi everybody, I'm Brad Nessler. We hope you had an excellent Thanksgiving. Along with Gary Danielson, we're thankful that we got the third man in our crew back. Dean Blevins will join us in a minute. Different numbers, Gare, for these teams. We've been here in past years and seen maybe for a conference championship. In Nebraska's case, first time in 5 years they've been out of the national championship chase, so it's a little bit different, but I don't think it takes away the feel of this game, does it?
You know, Brett, I think it may be one of the biggest misconceptions about big-time sports. If you're not playing for a championship, people think there's no pressure in these type of football games, there's no intensity. Believe me, these players came to Nebraska and Colorado to play in big-time games. They feel the pressure of past traditions, and the pressure and the intensity will be here today.
Well, it's been intensity. The last 7 years have all been either losses or one tie for Colorado. They have to go all the way back to their 90 national championship season to find a win over Nebraska. How can they pull that streak off today?
Well, I'll tell you what Colorado has to do. They have to play this game at least with the lead a little bit. Look at the last 3 years, Colorado in this football game against Nebraska. They have only led for 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Nebraska has led the whole time. That's led to Nebraska going at Colorado, playing in front, playing with the lead, and having 21 sacks and 11 interceptions in the last 3 games.
That's something they can ill afford today. Frank Solich and Rick Neuheisel's club set to square off on Seniors Day in Lincoln. We'll kick it in a moment. Had hoped they'd be involved with. That won't be the case this season. They come in with 3 losses, first time in a long time they've had that many conference losses. Starting the season, Colorado's defense played so well. Nebraska's always plays well. Is it the offenses that are limping a little bit, Gary?
It has been. I mean, you're looking at quarterbacks that have to come through today. Both Machete and Crouch have to make plays, and I know both of the coaches are going to look to their quarterbacks to provide something more than passing. They're going to have to provide mobility, Dino.
Well, that's right, Gary, and stability as well. Machete is a great guy when he's healthy. He's been unhealthy a lot. That's a concern for Colorado. I talked to Rick Neuheisel just a moment ago, and he said Machete's healthier now than he's been in the last month. He's had rib problems. He'll wear a protector for that. Eric Crouch is a potential superstar for Nebraska. This guy has great running instincts. He has sprinter speed. He's a great passer. In fact, the Colorado coaches are telling us that he's better than Scott Frost is. Now, I asked Turner Gill, the quarterback's coach, about that, and he said, no, Scott won us a national championship. He's not quite there yet. Pressure on the coaches. Frank Solich, if he wins today, goes 8-3. None other than Tom Osborne said way back 9 months ago, if Frank goes 8-3, I would have gone 8-3, Brad. That's enough said for me.
Absolutely. And when we talked to Frank Solich yesterday, we talked about the 3 losses. His comment to us was, I'm comfortable with what this football team has done. I'm comfortable with what my coaching staff has done. Let's see what gets done on the field today as Colorado watches the kick sail out of the end zone for a touchback. And it will be the Buffaloes on offense to start things off. Johanning Meyer has played 3 different spots, both tackles and center this year, with Bedell, Gerard, Morgan, and Cook up front, the biggins in the Chili's offensive starting lineup. Shiverini's the lead receiver, over 50 catches. Javon Green, a big playmaker. Stiggers has speed, and Ashworth the tight end. And in the backfield, Marlon Barnes, his best game ever as a Buffalo, last time out against Iowa State. And there's Rick Neuheisel, already his 4th season and 32 wins under his belt for the 37-year-old coach of Colorado. First down for the Buffaloes from their own 20-yard line. Barnes got about 3. Defensively, up front for the Cornhuskers, Jason Wiltz has 2 interceptions this year. He's one of those guys that'll drop back in that zone blitz coverage. Kelsey, Kaiser, and Mike Rucker on the front 4. The linebacking core, a great one of the seniors, and one of the top tacklers, Jay Foreman, with Ortiz and Eric Johnson. And in the secondary, the lead tackler is Mike Brown. Sweeney, Finley, and Ralph Brown round out the Nebraska secondary. Second down and 7, Colorado. deafening already the crowd here at the stadium. Enough so that Colorado Machete looks at the referee and says, we got to take a timeout here.
I think it was a delay of game, Brad.
Absolutely was.
You know, in some of those situations, this early in a half, I think if I'm Rick Neuheisel, I'd rather have a delay of game than to burn a timeout so early in this football game.
That is what it was. There's Machete's numbers. 4 games he's missed, as we talked about in the open with Gary and Dean. It's whether or not he can stay in there with a bad rib. We might see his arm for the first time today now that it's 2nd down and 12. He dropped the ball. It's loose. Nebraska's got it. Now it squirts free again. Colorado may have gotten back on top of the ball. Mike Rucker had a golden opportunity to scoop that thing up. Marcus Spivey, though, is the guy that'll end up with it.
You have seen in a microcosm the problems of this Colorado football team all season. If you can believe it or not, Rick Neuheisel has said it has been a joke. The quarterback center exchange has been a problem all year. Mike Machete has 13 fumbles this season and he's lost 6. That's his 14th, and a great majority of those has been self-inflicted wounds.
The good news is they got back on the ball. The bad news is it's 3rd down and 29. They'll play it safe. Barnes stood up by Foreman.
Well, a 3 and out and losing that many yards is exactly what this Colorado team didn't do. And you can see the frustration on Rick Neuheisel's face. Colorado trying to play it close to the vest, running the ball early, just punting, just moving back, and now they get to punt the ball from their own 3-yard line. Not a way to get this crowd against you.
And Nick Peach has had 2 punts blocked this year. But this looks to be a return set up by Nebraska with 3 men back. It's not a good kick. And it takes a Nebraska bounce out of bounds. They're going to have tremendous field position the first time they touch it offensively. It's going to be right about the 30-yard line. The Chili starting lineup for Nebraska. The Big Eaters up front, led by Heskew, a senior. Raiola, Hochstein, Schwab, and Gesford round out the front wall. Sheldon Jackson is a big play tight end with Wiggins and Cheatham, the wide receivers. And in the backfield, Joel Makovica. We'll see him both as a lead blocker and as a single setback today. Buckhalter and Crouch finish off the Nebraska offense. 2 tight ends set to start the game. Cheatham, the motion man. The second man through is Buckhalter, and he's hit immediately, and he's probably going to lose a yard. Aaron Marshall, the first man to meet him, part of the front 4 for Colorado. As we look at their defense, Fred Jones is the Buffalo that leads this club in sacks with Marshall, Bannon, and McDonald. The linebacking core is a good one. Southward, the leading tackler right now with Navies and Sykes. And in the secondary, their main cover man and a dangerous punt returner is Ben Kelly with Washington Sanders and Damon Wheeler. No gain on the last play, 2nd down, and all of 10 to go for Nebraska. On the option, Couch fakes the pitch and keeps it, and he got it about 2 yards before he's run under, and we'll see Nebraska in a 3rd down and long situation.
Colorado has been living off their defense this year. Basically, they're 16th rated defense in the country this year. They're going to be able to match speed with Nebraska. This is one of the things that actually Bill McCartney brought to this program, the speed to play against the top level teams in the country. That is established. The offense running the ball has not been established this year. That's why they've slipped.
Billy Hafke and Lance Brown join the wide receiver core now. On a 3rd down and 7. Crouch deep drop, wants to throw over to his running back, and he overshot it. Nice play defensively by Colorado to blow that whole play up.
Well, we're talking about a football team in Colorado that is also a very young football team, as young as their coach almost. 27 players have made their first start this year, most since '84. And you know, the interesting thing on top of that is 48% of the football team, 48% out of 101 are either freshmen or 2nd-year freshmen. That's a lot.
Chris Brown's going to try a field goal of 45 yards. His long this year is 48. Snap kind of low, handled well. He got all of it, but he missed it. He kicked it a mile, but it didn't go through the post.
Chris
so
Brown
Nebraska comes up empty.
Preseason All-American kicker, has not had a great year this year. Missed a key extra point last week against Colorado State.
Rick Neuheisel watches it go wide, still scoreless. Colorado now with their second offensive possession of the day as Brown missed the field goal. And so in a scoreless tie, the Buffaloes take over just inside their own 30-yard line. Play fake to Barnes. Machete trying to throw, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Clint Finley down the sideline. Finley over the top of the quarterback. Touchdown. Clint Finley with the interception and a 42-yard touchdown run.
Well, what do you do if you're Rick Neuheisel? You don't run the ball well the first series. You come back and try a little play action pass, a little bootleg to get outside that great defense. But watch Rucker. Big defensive end does not have a sack this year, but big number 84 comes up and puts the pressure on Machete. That forces the throw to be a little bit lob. Clint Finley, who Nebraska missed so much at the beginning of the season, back in there, picks it off, and bad start. And
another bad kick, but it made it. Somebody may have gotten a hand on that one, but it went through anyway. Clint Finley, the interception and the touchdown. It's 7-0 Nebraska in front with 11:09 to go in the first quarter. Finley, a touchdown's given Nebraska the 7-0 lead. An ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by the new Silverado, the truck from down, and he's out there on the kick coverage unit as Brown knocks another one deep and out of the end zone, and Colorado will start from the 20-yard line again.
Yes, only this time Colorado is starting behind in this football game. We talked about it in the open. Colorado is now, after 3 minutes and 50 seconds plus of this football game, already find themselves behind Nebraska, and that's just going to allow Chelsea and Rucker and those guys to tee off on this Colorado team.
Machete, who has been intercepted and fumbled. And there's what Gary was talking about earlier, 21 sacks and 11 interceptions.
And actually, it's 21 sacks and 11 interceptions in the last 3 football games.
Right. Straight up the middle. Barnes has some running room this time. Out to the 29-yard line. Almost a 9-yard pickup. Jay Foreman made the tackle. Marlon Barnes, one of the captains, much injured this year. And he had his best game ever in the final home game for Colorado. 237 yards the last time out.
He really did, and that's exactly what that offensive line needs to do, is to spring Marlon Barnes loose a little bit and take the pressure off of Machete, Brad.
Second down and short. Spivey's the fullback in the eye. Stigger's the motion man. Barnes almost fumbled it, got popped at the line of scrimmage, but he got the first down. And he took that handoff twice, once from Machete and once from himself.
Yeah, you just have to wonder, you know that we talked about Machete being out of 4 games this year, and look at Nebraska's corners to the outside. Absolutely no respect for the Colorado passing game. Charlie McBride told us that yesterday. I think maybe we've lost our edge or our confidence at the corner position. We're going to move up, play a man-to-man, and come after this offense.
About 5 minutes into the game, 7-0 Nebraska. 3 wide outs for Machete. Back, fires a little bit high.
Can I do?
Intended for Javon Green, off his fingertips, and it was Erwin Sweeney back there covering. Green is a guy Charlie McBride was concerned about. He's a tall, lanky receiver who also has good speed.
You know, how about Chad Kelsey, his last game here, Brad? And he said, you know, we've been the bully for a while. We've kind of gone out with a swagger here. We just kind of lay it to people for 2 quarters and they quit. But you know what? When you lose 3 games, people don't lie down as fast.
That's right. Second down and 10 from the 31-yard line. Barnes in a cutback. Found a little bit of an opening. It closed in a hurry. Mike Brown came up from the secondary. He is one tough tackler from his safety spot, the leading tackler on this team, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, if you're going to run the ball against Nebraska, you have to handle the 2 defensive ends. Chad Kelsey, Mike Rucker, number 57 this time is just slammed in on a stunt. Good job that time. Just see which way the guy's going and slam him the way he wants to go. Let the running back go to the daylight.
Well, last time Colorado was in an obvious passing situation, Clint Finley took it in for a touchdown. They've got 3rd down and 7 here. Up in the pocket steps Machete. Now he's going to run with it. Nice cutback across the 40, and he's got a 1st down out to the 44-yard line. Pickup of 10.
Well, that's the mobility that we talked about that the quarterback is going to have to provide against this Nebraska football team. Michael Bishop did it a week ago against Nebraska, making plays. As Rick Neuheisel told us when we were talking to him, you have to depend on your quarterback to make some plays outside of the designed offense, and that's what Machete did right there.
1st down at the 44-yard line. Nebraska's showing blitz from the corner, and they're going to bring it. Here it comes. Machete down the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Robert Toller, and a penalty marker down. Let's see if Toller was bumped back there.
He sure was.
Or Finley.
It was Sweeney that time that did it. Sweeney, who frankly Charlie McBride told us has lost confidence in his football game. Playing aggressively. He got burned by Texas a couple times, that huge 3rd and 21 where he gave up the big play, and really he grabbed on it. He didn't need to there.
Pass interference on Sweeney, so that'll give Colorado another 1st down. It is a gorgeous day, as you probably see wherever you might be watching the country. Normally we'd be worrying about freezing, Dino, but it's pretty nice out here.
That's right. I think today we need sunscreen instead of long handles and gloves, which, you know, I've spent half my life in Lincoln in November. It never comes like this. Let's take a look at something that you're not going to see today, and that is, number one, a tie score, which they had back in 91 at this game, and the wind chill -8. It is 66 degrees now, right, guy? The record is 68 and blue skies.
And a fast track straight up the middle for Marlon Barnes. I couldn't believe that last night when the weatherman was telling us it's going to be a record for this day in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it is picture perfect.
Well, especially when you think about Big 12 teams designing their offense, they always say towards the end of November, out here in the plains, you have to be able to handle the weather, the wind, the cold weather. That's why you have to have that running game. Well, today you can play golf. It doesn't matter what you want to do.
And we got a timeout taken by Colorado. As you look at the 76,000 in attendance here, we'll take a break as well. Be back in a moment. Detmer on this pass, intercepted by Jay Foreman. He takes it in 21 yards for a touchdown. Nebraska won that one 17-12. And then last year, Colorado at Nebraska, 3rd quarter. It's Amon Green on the pitch, 16-yard touchdown romp. Nebraska goes on to win 27-24. Rick Neuheisel has not always been part of every loss for Colorado, obviously, in just his 4th year as the head coach. But it's 0-6-1 in the last 7 tries for the Buffaloes. 2nd down and 5. Barnes broke a tackle. Stood up at the 30 by Clint Finley, and he got the 1st down with a nice 2nd effort. Marlon Barnes, when healthy, the kind of guy that could be a home run hitter for this Colorado team, Gary, but he missed so much time this year.
He really has. And, you know, and at one point, a lot of his teammates, maybe the press, a little bit of the internet, all those rotten things that are there right now, kind of questioned how tough he was. And, in fact, Rick Neuheisel went to him and said, you know, this is what's being said about you, and asked Marlon to address the football team. He did, and he's caught fire since.
He said, I want you to carry the team, did Neuheisel. And Marlon Barnes said to his teammates, I'll try that, but I got to have your help. And they're helping him today. 7 carries, 31 yards. Here he comes again. Jay Foreman tracks him down after a pickup of 5 inside the 25. So Colorado's got something working here offensively.
Well, I'll tell you what Colorado feels good about right now. For only the 3rd game this season, they had their regular offensive line lined up this time. They've gone through the same number of injuries. These 2 programs this year, kind of against what they've usually had, good healthy football players staying healthy throughout the season. They've had to juggle lineups, and when you do that in the offensive line, that slows everybody down.
That's why Rick Neuheisel said Johangenmeyer, who's starting at left tackle today, has also started on the right side and at center. He said he should be an all-conference performer just because of his versatility due to injuries. Barnes, a couple more, maybe 3 down to the 22. Mike Rucker, you talk about a guy that's been banged up. Rucker has been as well.
You know, it's never really an excuse, and I know no one likes to hear about that, but it really is a reason why teams don't play as well and as smoothly as before. And when you look at the combined with the reduced number of scholarships, only 12 seniors on this football team, it starts to add up to your football team.
Barnes has run it 7 times in this 9-play drive. Machete still has not completed a pass. You expect they'll keep it on the ground here with 2 tight ends, and it's Barnes, and I think he's got the first down. He does. Mike Brown made the hit along with Keough Craver, but Marlon Barnes keeps it going here for the Colorado Buffaloes. Coming up Sunday night, live at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, Sunday Night Football. Don't miss it. The Denver Broncos still unbeaten. Terrell Davis still on a tear. They'll take on the Chargers. Then Monday night on ABC Sports, Monday Night Football live at 8 Eastern. The New York Giants head out west. They'll take on Jerry Rice and the San Francisco 49ers. It doesn't help Colorado's program that 25 minutes down the road they got a pro football team that hasn't lost.
Yeah, that's in a Super Bowl last year, right?
Yeah. Machete, play action to the end zone, touchdown, Javon Green. 17 yards, and Colorado within a point of tying it up.
Well, Charlie McBride is somewhat of a absolutely great prediction about who he feared in this football game. He said, I don't know what that kid's name is, but number 19, and he took it into the end zone. Keough Craver was on coverage, a true freshman playing in there, basically because Sweeney just doesn't have the confidence to play man-to-man.
Jeremy Aldridge hits the point after, and with 6 minutes 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Machete, who had not completed a pass, finds a good time to complete one. He hooks up with Javon Green to tie it up at 7.
You really notice the difference from this Nebraska football team this year than a year ago. They do not sack the quarterback like they did a year ago. You know, they're holding the team to less points than a year ago. Everything else is about normal, but they don't put the pressure on the quarterback that they did. That allows someone like that, Machete, to pick apart a young freshman in the corner.
Talking with Charlie McBride, he said, as you look at your stat, the time in lead.
Yep. Nebraska's had the lead for 3:52, but importantly, Colorado now is going to be able to play this game even, tying this score. That was a great drive, marched it down the field, and primarily running the ball behind that offensive line.
Getting back to that sack statistic you were talking about, only 27 sacks for Nebraska. That is well below what they normally have. Aldridge, who just hit the point after to cap an 80-yard march in 11 plays, has got it teed up, set to kick to Joe Walker and Chevin Wiggins. Left and right on your screen. Joe Walker, a very dangerous return man. High short kick. This one might be fair caught, and it is. And it's taken by Sheldon Jackson, the tight end, at about the 26-yard line. Coming up tonight on Eastern Time, right here on ABC. Right here in the Central Time Zone, we've got 6:10 remaining. First quarter, tie game. On the option, Buckhalter didn't get much, maybe a yard. Damon Wheeler came up from the secondary, made the hit.
Yeah, and I think that's really right there. Colorado showed its speed right there, that defense. I mean, these are still very talented players Colorado is playing with over there. Fairly young, but I tell you, they all run. And that's really the difference between where this program is today than maybe where it was 15 years ago when they first made the rise. Colorado has matched the speed of Nebraska in this league.
2nd down and 9. Eric Crouch. Talk about speed. He's a quarterback that's got some, but we haven't seen it so far today. Crouch wants to throw, and now he's going to scramble. And throws on the run. Got a man open, and he got him complete down to the 47 to Matt Davison. Pick up with 26.
I could just hear the coaches saying to Crouch as he got outside the pocket, run, 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 Eric, you got a first down. And Eric Crouch says, you know, I've been back here a while now. This is my 4th game. I know what I'm doing. Come out of the pocket, show the mobility that I have, and just be patient with my speed. Keep my eyes downfield. When I get out of the pocket, make something happen. Don't just run.
On first down, the toss. Buckhalter got about 4. Marcus Washington made the stop. The I-back position, normally an All-American type, is back there playing for Nebraska year in and year out. We saw Amon Green in our Solomon Smith Barney remembers. Buckhalter, the leading rusher, was 707 coming in. But of course, we saw D'Angelo Evans in the one time he was healthy this year, and what a dimension he would add. They just haven't been able to stay healthy at that spot.
Nice to have T.J. Bates back for Nebraska, their other tight end. He's been out 3 games. They can go this 2 tight end set.
Crouch, look out from behind. You talk about getting leveled. Jay-Sean Sykes just spiked the quarterback.
Jay-Sean Sykes that time really did it from the backside. You're right, Brad. And you know what? He's going to have to go the whole way today because Brooks, he usually rotates with it, but Sykes is going to come right off the corner right there. Is not picked up on the backside. And as the play action pass goes, oops, center does not come out quick enough, and that's a big time sack.
You think he got there fast?
Yeah.
He's a 10'8", 100-meter guy playing linebacker. That's not fair. 3rd and 13. Crouch standing in. Down the middle, incomplete. There were 4 Buffaloes there, and the intended receiver as well. It was Kenny Cheatham. And an injured Colorado player down in the backfield. I think it's Fred Jones, and they cannot afford to lose him. He's their big play pass rusher.
He is, but actually Colorado, I mean, you don't want to lose anybody, but Colorado will rotate 4 defensive ends in this game. So that rotation, if they do lose Fred, would go down to 3. So it's one of those spots of a strength spot for Colorado.
It'll be a punting situation coming up as Colorado will send out their punt return group as it's 4th down and 13. Fred appears to be all right. He's got a convoy there with him, boy. When they bring out the trainers.
Something happens. We got a lot of FaceTime. Everybody knows this is a national televised game. People act like they've never watched TV before. This is a run-out game, boy.
I'm sure Ricky Williams is still in the locker room, but Gary and I, Dean, also add our congratulations from our crew, and we've done many of his games. What a outstanding performance in our first game today. If you missed it, he shattered Tony Dorsett's NCAA rushing record and did it in fine fashion in a Texas victory over the Aggies. Here's a punt. High and off the side of his foot, but it takes a great bounce. Too good a bounce. They almost tracked it down. Not quite. Touchback. Don't forget, you can ask Gary questions about today's game at the Bowl Championship Series website at ESPN.com or AOL keyword ABC Sports. And we've had them from not only all over the country, but we've had a couple from Europe. So wherever you're watching today, you can ask Gary any question you like.
Mike Machete, when he's healthy, he's been good. Keeping him healthy for this football game, I think, is probably the #1 goal of this Colorado Brain Trust today.
And after his 0-2 start, his last pass was a touchdown. And now he's playing back dead even, tied at 7 again from the 20. Barnes found an opening and a cutback, and had he not been cut down after about a 10-yard gain by Sweeney, he might have been off to the races. Showing great cutback skills so far here in this first half.
We talked about what Chad Kelsey said early in the football game about, we're no longer have that air of invincibility about us. We hit these guys, we smack them around early in the game, but they don't quit anymore.
Yeah.
You can see Colorado, they're staying patient, they're staying with their running game, and they're springing some gashes in this Nebraska defense.
2 tight end set on a 1st and 10 from the 30. Play action. Throwing on the run. Man open, and he overshot it. Marcus Stiggers, who had a lot of green in front of him, but on that bootleg, Machete rolling to his left and trying to throw back across his body, and he couldn't quite deliver it on target.
Yeah, and Stiggers, fastest guy on the Colorado Buffalo football team, had a lot of space around him, and that's one of those big plays, wide open space you expect your quarterback to make.
And you expect a guy that was drafted as a shortstop to be able to make that throw.
Go into the hole and make the throw, right? That's right behind second base, going to his left. Marcus Stiggers had that reverse touchdown 2 weeks ago against Iowa State, first play of the football game.
2nd down and 10 now, 3 wideouts. Barnes is the single setback. Machete straight drop this time. Steps up in the pocket now on his run, got out to the 34-yard line, picked up about 4. Eric Johnson made the tackle. And let's check in with Dino on the sideline.
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that the wind is a factor in this ball game. You've seen a poor punt early, and I think that last ball was affected by this wind. It is gusting up into the face of Colorado at around 20 miles an hour, swirling down here. But Gary, I know you threw a tight spiral. It wouldn't be as big a factor for you, but it would for me.
Dino, as good as you look, you must have that hair gel in there pretty good today.
3rd down and 5. Barnes will come out of the backfield. Machete pulls it down. He wanted to throw. Rucker nails him for a loss of 1.
And I think that might be Mike Rucker's first sack of the season. A preseason All-American has gone the whole year without a sack. That was definitely a passing play. And Rucker, who has been healthy maybe this last half of the year more than all season, suffered early with a kind of a stomach pull and a groin problem. Lined up at the end of the line of the scrimmage. The ball comes up. Machete wants to throw. Good coverage. And Rucker gets his first sack. Let's give it to him. That's his first sack.
Absolutely. 4th down, forced the punt. Pretty good kick. Joe Walker's got a backpedal to the 21. Got 2 good blocks. He didn't get much out of the return, but that's, I guess, a great reason why you can have triple setbacks back there, because he got 2 bone-crushing blocks as soon as he caught it.
And the way it was set up was really nice too, Brad. You know, they had one guy on each side, and then they cross. I think you might be able to see it at the end of this kind of replay here. You'll see the 2 guys. This guy will go this way, and this guy will go this way and kick out. Watch these 2 kick out blocks. They cross, and then the 2 guys, the 2 Hawks, say I'm open, and they both get the kick out blocks. Very nicely designed.
Great shot of it too, guys. First down at the 33. 3 wide out grouping for Nebraska. On the option, fumble, Buckhalter. Colorado says they have it. They do.
Boy, you wonder if he had possession of that ball before he got out of bounds.
The official was right there on the sideline. I'm with you. I was wondering whether or not Terrell Cade had control of that football.
Well, you see Frank Solich right there arguing that point. Did Cade have complete control when he came down? The fans on Husker Vision here in Lincoln say no. Buckhalter. Oh, I'll tell you, when he fell down on that ground, his shoulder hit the out-of-bounds line before he had control. And I think that's one of those calls that was a big break for Colorado, but it's the way it goes. When things go wrong, Frank Solich, they kind of snowball on you.
At any rate, it's first down Buffaloes after the turnover at the Nebraska 29-yard line. Barnes opening on the left side, closed on him, courtesy of Mike Brown again. Boy, he is a sure tackler from that safety spot, the junior out of Scottsdale, Arizona.
You know, when Clint Finley went down early in this football season, Mike Brown had to move to free safety, and Joe Walker took Brown's spot at that rover spot. Brown now, as Finley has gotten healthy, is playing both of the spots, playing 2 positions. He had 19 tackles against Texas in that football game. He seems to be able to find that football wherever they go.
That was his career best. That's still a season high for this Nebraska defense. 2nd down and 8 at the Cornhusker 27. Here's a toss. Barnes hitting the backfield. Bounced off the would-be tackle of Kelsey and got back near the line of scrimmage. Steve Warren finally put him down, but Kelsey's a guy that forced the play.
You know, I think this attack defense for Nebraska was really designed for Florida State and Florida in those bowl games when guys like Charlie Ward was giving this Nebraska defense such fits. But now Kelsey and Rucker have been playing there like Winstrom and some of the other guys that have been here. And if you don't get them blocked right away, they're going to make plays in the backfield just like Kelsey did right there.
The play from the Colorado bench came in very, very late. They're going to have to hustle.
They're going to have to take a timeout. And you got a lot of the Colorado guys frustrated with the bench right there. And Rick Neuheisel and Carl Durrell, the offensive coordinator, are going to have to bring the guys over there and say, calm down a bit.
At least a play left in the quarter. We'll have to wait until after this timeout for it.
Dean Blevins from the sideline, where Carl Durrell is the offensive coordinator. But no question, guys, you get 3rd down calls like this and red zone calls. Rick Neuheisel calls the plays. He had his quarterback talking to him one-on-one.
It's a 3rd and 8. We'll see what they came up with. Machete fires out complete, a flag down, as that one's going to be very close to a first down to Javon Green.
You know, this play could really go either way. This could be offensive pass interference on Green.
Nebraska's celebrating as if that's the call, Garrett.
Javon Green came off that time, and I think you'll see him push off, bump and run outside on Sweeney. Push off with that left hand. That's an excellent call by the official right there, right on the play. And Sweeney was able to gamble on that play because Charlie McBride kept 2 free safeties back and told his corners, gamble on everything short. We got help for you deep. Now see, Dean said that Rick Neuheisel called that 3rd and 7, but I think he's going to. Carl's going to get able to have it. 3rd and 20. That goes right up to the booth.
Absolutely.
We used to do that a lot when we were playing. We had the calls on our wrist. You know, we could call any one of 5 plays in the nickel situation, but they'd always be sending them in if it was 3rd and 5, and on 3rd and 12 they'd just wave to us. Go ahead, call it. You got it. You got it.
Well, this will be the last play of the quarter, as it's backed up to the 42-yard line.
Actually, I think the quarter's going to end.
You're correct, sir. And there's the whistle to end the first 15 from Lincoln. And we're tied at 7. A big 3rd down coming up for Colorado when we come back. ABC Sports presentation of college football returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, and Dean Blevins and our ABC crew along with you. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving yesterday, and this game anything but leftovers. But while you've probably got some sitting on your lap, the second of our 2 big games today. If you missed it earlier, Texas a winner over Texas A&M. Right now we're tied at 7 to start the second quarter. 3rd down at 23. Machete pressure, down he goes. Kelsey's there. Rucker was in the area, and he's dropped way back at the 50.
3rd and 23. Tough for this offensive line to hold up on this situation. Let's go back to the interference call. Here's the 2 free safeties playing half field, and then you'll see man-to-man coverage, everybody underneath. This is what gives your confidence to your corners who've been having trouble. You got help deep. I'm covering for you, but notice the middle of that field. I'm sure the coaches for Colorado will notice that. The safeties are getting extremely wide. They could attack the middle.
Comes Kelsey trying to pressure the punter, and he got close. Chevin Wiggins on the other end for the 12. Run down from the backside. Nice hustle down on the special teams by Ben Kelly. Shows you how quick he is. He makes the stop after a 7-yard return.
You know, it really is amazing watching this Colorado team. Haven't seen them in a while, but they've really started to move their football team into the mirror image of this Nebraska football team, especially on defense. They're an attack defense. They're playing a 4-3. They want to play bump and run to the outside. And Frank Solich, when he looks out there, it's going to look to him just like spring football. This is just what we face every day.
1st down for Nebraska. See if Crouch has changed things up at the line. It's Buckhalter, and he's got Sean Jarney draped all over him. First quarter statistics, as you take a look, total yardage 70 for Colorado, only 25 for Nebraska. But remember, their touchdown came on an interception return of 42 yards for a score by Clint Finley. So time of possession almost 11-4 there in Colorado's favor.
And I don't think you need an expert analysis to say when that Nebraska team is rushing for -2 yards, offense ain't working good right now.
They have not gotten the option in gear at all. 2nd down and 6. The 2 tight end set again out there. Nice play fake by Crouch. His time runs out, and his pass is low and drops. And Sheldon Jackson gets up kind of funny after trying to catch that pass. He's one of their big play receivers from the tight end spot.
You know, Eric Crouch, that was a quick play action pass, turned around and looked, and it was very quickly defended that time by the defense. Rashidi Barnes that time saw that crossing tight end. A very well schooled defense that reacts as quick as it runs.
Crouch is only 1 for 4 throwing the football. 3rd down and a long 6 here. He's got 3 wide receivers, including Matt Davison, who's been one of his favorite targets. He's going to keep it on the ground, though. Pitch to Buckhalter. He bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers, and he's got a 1st down out at the 33-yard line. So they change things up a little bit on 3rd and long, and they keep it on the ground. They pick up 11 yards and a 1st down for Nebraska.
On the option, it's the quarterback's job to block someone. If you're going to pitch the ball, make sure somebody takes you. Well, somebody took him. He did his job that time. You run down there long enough, quick enough to get taken on that play, and he got taken that time. That was a big-time hit.
So 1st down, Buckhalter, the first time he's been able to get a little bit of a downhill run going. Only the 2nd 1st down for Nebraska. Now they go the other way with the option, and Crouch keeps, and he gets leveled by Sykes after a pickup of 2. Time right now for the Aflac trivia question this week. And our question is, who was the first Husker running back to rush for 200 yards in a game? I got this one last night in the meeting easy. This is one of my only easy ones all year. We'll give you the answer to the Aflac trivia question a little bit later on.
One thing I know, there's been plenty since.
Yes, there has. Second down and 8. Quick snap. Crouch leveled as he throws, but he got it to his tight end Jackson, and he's got a first down out across the 45 near the 47-yard line. We'll give Eric Crouch, not the biggest guy in the world, credit. He got hammered by Southward. In fact, he was trying to throw northward, and he got hammered by Southward.
You're right, and he was put down under on this one, too. Eric Crouch, quick drop, 5 steps, and Southward just bland, just right in the chest as he let that ball go. No one picked up the middle linebacker, and I promise you, there is not a protection device where you don't account for the middle linebacker, number 66, right in front of the center.
Crouch shakes it off, brings the troops up to a first down at the 46-yard line. Play action. He wants to throw again. Now he's going to take off, and he's going to be sacked. And this time it was Ian Loper who got around to drop him for a loss of 3.
When we spoke to A.J. Kristoff, the defensive coordinator for Colorado, he really had some good things to say about Eric Crouch. I mean, very impressed with him.
Yeah, he was telling us, Dino said that he thought that he was as good already as Scott Frost was. We all kind of went, wait a minute, yeah. Coach, come on. Is that coach speak or what? Does have some of the qualities, but, you know, let's face it, Scott Frost won a national championship, and he's playing defensive back in the National Football League.
Right.
So, second down 13. Pump fake. They want to throw the screen back and do to Cheatham. Knocked off his pins. Nice open field tackle out there near midfield by Sykes again, or he might have been off to the races. Let's check in with Dino with 11 minutes to go in the half.
Hey guys, you go back to Sheldon Jackson here a couple moments ago. Times are changing, aren't they? I don't know what Bear Bryant may have done if he knew about the fingernails on this cat. He's got some mauve fingernails. He's also a terrific player. You mentioned A.J. Kristoff, Gary. You know, he compares him to a Shannon Sharp type player, right, that he's hard to cover with a safety and play action. You can really have a false step and you're in trouble. But this guy's really good with the mauve nails.
Got him painted up.
Not exactly Husker red, though. Kind of a deeper hue, actually. Here's the option going the other way. No option involved in that one. Sykes makes another tackle and got help from Justin Bannon as they put Crouch down, and it brings up 4th down.
Jason Sykes just exploded, blew up that play before it even got its started again. That's the load option that Nebraska just has been running around here for 20 years. Sykes was so deep in the backfield, it just blew up that play before it got started. Speed kills from every position, and Colorado really has it, especially on the turf here.
Jayshon Spikes looks like the fastest guy out there right now, the way he's played so far. Punting situation for LaFleur. And LaFleur hits a spiral deep. It's going to be too deep. This one makes the end zone on the fly. And a touchback, 46-yard punt, and Colorado will take over at the 20-yard line when we come back. A picture-perfect day in Lincoln, Nebraska on this Friday after Thanksgiving.
For dodging
against Air Force, Fearless Frankie went 204-3 in that one. As Gary said, there have been many 200-yard rushers since. Machete off play action on first down. Deep in the middle. Got Javon Green. He's cut down by Brown, but he's got a first down and a pickup of 17.
Well, you can really see the game plan developing for Rick Neuheisel. That is the 5th pass of this football game for Colorado. All 5 have been on first down. They've run the ball 18 times, so they want to throw the ball on early downs, run the ball in position when they have those long yardage situations, and keep this Nebraska defense on their heels a bit.
And Javon Green's the guy they're doing it with. Shiverini, their leading receiver, hasn't caught a pass yet. So now they got some room to work from their own 37. Barnes, long handoff. Can he get to the corner? Got there and ran into who else? Mike Brown. Picked up 5, and Barnes putting together a good first half.
Boy, I tell you, this offensive line for Colorado is doing the job. Brad Bedell that time, number 76, had just a pancake block that time. And when you can get that offensive line coming off the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage, easy to call plays no matter who you're playing against.
As you were saying, you can't go through a season with 9 different variations of your offensive line up there and expect to have a perfect record, but they're playing very, very well. 2nd down and 5. They're going to keep it on the ground. Barnes with Kelsey chasing. Forget about it this time. Loss on the play. Chad Kelsey, who Charlie McBride says he'll be made a linebacker in the NFL, but he'll probably end up being a good one.
3.5 sacks this year, 12 quarterback hurries, but countless times defeating his block at the line of scrimmage, making that running back either go inside him or outside of him, depending on the defensive call, and allowing guys like Mike Brown to clean up on tackles.
He's just sort of the soul of that front wall, and what he does is infectious to his teammates. They turn it up a notch too. They probably will here on a 3rd down and 8.
They're coming.
Machete had to run away from Kelsey, and now in the open field he's popped by Ralph Brown this time. If one Brown doesn't get you, the other one will.
I hope Machete has one of those flak jackets on by the rib cages that time.
And you know who almost tracked him down was Kelsey from behind.
Pressure from the outside. Eric Johnson's coming, number 27, the fastest man on the football team for Nebraska. But Machete does a good job of finding some openings, but there's speed back there to actually just hit that guy right on.
Nick Peach almost had another one blocked. He's hit by Kelsey, flag down. The punt's a good one. It's going to go all the way to the end zone, but they'll bring this one back. And it's going to be a 1st down Colorado.
Yeah, Kelsey is saying he got blocked into the punter that time. You'll see him coming on the left side of your screen. You won't see the block in this look, but you can see he ran him over. It doesn't take much to run over that punting. But look at from the top here how it looks and what Kelsey is arguing about on this play. He's saying, I got shoved into the punter.
So that's going to give Colorado a 1st down as Peach takes one for the team. And they're going to move it all the way down. Man, they walked this thing off.
Well, you can't have a 30-yard penalty. I mean, they just passed up about 5 lines there.
I was going to say they're going a little too far.
The most it can be is 15 yards. Let's take a look at it one more time. Gets blocked just as the end of it. Now the question, remember in college football though, that Kelsey doesn't really realize being blocked into the punter doesn't matter.
He can worry about that next year.
But it will be just a 5-yard penalty.
And I think that's a good call. At any rate, it gives Colorado the 1st down right at midfield. With 7 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the half. We got a good one going here. Tie game, 7-7. With number 17 Nebraska and unranked Colorado.
Well, that got the fans going a little bit, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Colorado's been in the rankings this year. Their losses to Kansas State, Kansas, and Missouri. And only one of those is stuck in their craw pretty big time, and that was the loss to Kansas so handily. Barnes, again the cutback run. And again, finds about 9 yards before he's finally brought down.
Boy, Marcus Spivey that time did a great job, the blocking back that time to get on the backside. Play was not to go, really designed to go into his area that time, but he just faced up, did his assignment. Barnes broke it back, and Spivey was doing his job, and that really sprung it for a big play.
Let's check in with Dean before the snap of the ball here.
Guys out with Shane Cook, shoulder out. Now they're looking at it. He may return later.
All right, we'll keep you abreast of that. 2nd down at 2. Barnes, 1st down run. And it's Ralph Brown who makes a tackle, but a pickup of 5. And Barnes lost his hat.
Hey, we talked about this being an intense football game. The intensity is there at the line of scrimmage, believe me. Brad Bedell, again, one of those kick-out blocks. This time it was Aaron Willis, number 81. Right here, watch the guard pull and kick out, and watch after the block. He just doesn't make the block. He just drives him right into the ground. Camera went away, but I promise you, it went right into the ground.
At the 37, 1st down, Colorado. Play action. Kelsey's all over. Oh, it's not Kelsey. It's Eric Johnson, the linebacker. He is so fast. We talked about Sykes on the other side having speed. And there's one of the fastest Cornhuskers on the team right there.
This is a play that has caused the interception before, and now it's got a sack 2 times. One time they threw, everybody was covered one time also, but you know, they are staying at home and they're playing honest with Machete. Now what you don't realize is because of that, the running game may be working a little better because people are staying honest and respecting that.
3 wideouts. They're going to try to throw a screen pass to Charrington, who's come in there for Barnes, and he gets up near the 40-yard line. And Jay Foreman in on the stop.
I'll tell you, Jay Foreman, you're right. He just leaped over a couple of blockers that time and just got in that play right on the end of it.
You saw Jay Foreman earlier on Solomon Smith-Barney, who remembers, and he was wearing number 56 on that touchdown run off an interception. Of course, he's wearing what Dad wore for the Vikings right now.
Oh, I don't like that guy. I don't like him at all. Played Vikings all those years.
What a great player.
Beat us with the Lions all those years.
And now his son wearing number 44. 3rd and long. Machete had it tipped a little bit at the line, got it complete, but it's way short of the first down. Only got it to the 35-yard line to Marcus Stiggers.
Nothing can build your confidence faster than to have your backup get beat for a touchdown. Keo Craver came in there. Sweeney went on the bench. Craver just got beat for the touchdown in this football game. And Sweeney says, well, I can do at least that well. Let me get back in there and play.
Going to try a long field goal. Jeremy Aldrich. 46 is his longest. He's tried from 52, and there's no shot.
Well, he had plenty of distance, but it was off about 5 yards, maybe 8 yards to the right of the goalpost.
So both teams have missed long field goal attempts, and we stay tied with 4 minutes, 1 second left first half. With the Cornhuskers and the Buffaloes with just over 4 to go in the half, and they'll blow this one dead. Penalty markers down. Motion call coming up against Nebraska.
Start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So 1st and 15 back at the 30-yard line.
Trying to setting up a storyline in this football game so far. No big, really huge plays except for that interception by Finley. This Nebraska offense has been bottled up pretty well.
Nebraska came in ranked 6th in the nation in rushing, and that's really a down year for them. Normally they're number 1. Here is Crouch on the quarterback draw.
Oh, is he quick?
What a hit did he take from Ben Kelly. Man, oh man, they talk about Kelly's speed. They didn't tell us he could take your head off back there. The sophomore defensive back.
You talked about the clutch players on this football team. You mentioned Shiverini. I think Ben Kelly is the other clutch player for Colorado on this football team. And he was there for the hits, and he took part of it, but he had some help from behind, too, on that one.
Cade got a piece of it. Kelly got the front end of it.
Just a little different. Joe Makovica is the only remaining back in this lineup right here. That is something different for Nebraska.
I told you he'd be back there as a single setback at times. And off play action, pass incomplete. Intended for Kenny Cheatham on the sideline, and that will bring up 3rd down and long.
Kenny Cheatham had that great one-handed catch last week against Kansas State, that 45-yard bomb that was probably as good a highlight material you've ever seen.
We talked about both these teams now have lost obviously to Kansas State, and really when you look at the losses that both teams have suffered, you can't say, well, they didn't lose to anybody good. Look how good Texas played today. That's another one of Nebraska's losses here at home that snapped their long winning streak at 47 games. 3rd down 11. Crouch has plenty of time and now runs out of time and out of the pocket. And he got back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's it. Well, that must have been great coverage in the secondary because he had all day to throw.
3rd and 11. Nebraska went with a play action pass, and a lot of people say, you know, why a play action pass 3rd and 11? You're not fooling anybody. The reason they do that is for protection reasons. They want to slide their line one way, and they have their backs both go to the same side of the line of scrimmage. It helps out in protection, but doesn't help the quarterback turning your back and reading things.
LaFleur to punt, and Ben Kelly, who took 176 yards last week, is back in return formation. They're going to try to keep it away from him. He'll take it on the bounce, though, near the 10-yard line. Hurdled a man, somehow got across the 15-yard line before he's drilled out of bounds. Tie game, 2:26 left in the half. We were there to call it. The interception of the Bobby Newcomb throw led to a Texas A&M upset. And then Ricky Williams on Halloween, no costume necessary for number 34. And that stopped the long winning streak at home. And finally, Michael Bishop with the throw to Darnell McDonald in the end zone. Kansas State by 10 and ends 30 years of frustration against the Cornhuskers. Those are the three teams they've lost to coming into this one. Nebraska following losses.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of experience with this in Nebraska.
That's right.
How to come back from a loss. But so far in the 2 games they came back, did a pretty good job. But of course, the competition in those 2 games wasn't as high as the games they lost.
Well, it's been 3 decades since they lost 4 games in a season. 1968. And they don't want to have that blemish added to their 98 record. 150 left. They're tied with Colorado here in the second quarter. Barnes flags down. I think we're going to have a holding call inside. Foreman and Barnes talking a little bit. Down here in the final 1:43 as you see the penalty. Let's check in with Dean.
Well, Brad, Colorado's a very good 2-minute offense team, although Rick Neuheisel just signaled to Mike Machete before that last play to run clock, let it go, which is probably a good idea to Gary.
That's a good 2-minute plan.
Yeah, it is. But they've scored since 1988, 71.3% of the time in 2 minutes. So it's a pretty good number.
It is. But remember, a lot of that was quarterbacks like Cordell Stewart, Coy Detmer. I don't think Machete is that type of a quarterback, and they don't have the type of receivers they had in those type of games either.
Well, you're right.
Now the situation right here for Colorado, Nebraska, is going to use their timeouts and force Colorado to punt this ball. So second and 18 or 19 yards, 17 yards is going to be very tough to pick up. You don't want to gamble a lot and have a turnover. So tough situation for the Colorado offense.
And the Nebraska defensive players just raised their arms to that crowd in the end zone as if to say, let's make it even harder for them. And Machete trotting off to the sideline right now with 1:33 remaining.
That was a heads up by Nebraska, taking a timeout right there because the clock was going to run after that penalty.
1 minute 33 seconds left in the first half. Still tied here in Lincoln at 7.
As you see, his throw is just as he let it go, just threw it as far as he could. But you know, as Neuheisel said, this is a landmark. Frank Solich says everybody is game for us is a landmark team for the other game.
3rd down at 17. Now it's a tough spot. If they throw, it'll be near his own goal line. They won't. They'll keep it on the ground, and Barnes got maybe 2 yards.
Nebraska will take a timeout quickly and force the punt with plenty of time remaining.
Timeout call by the Huskers.
So now they're going to be punting from their own end zone.
Well, you can see the strategy as it unfolded by Colorado is if we're going to throw the ball, we're going to throw it very deep. And if it's intercepted, let's have an interception way over midfield.
Almost like a punt.
Almost like a punt.
Coming up next Saturday on, not next Saturday, tomorrow I should say, on ABC Sports, it'll be Michigan State.
You know, technically you were right. That is the next Saturday.
I guess it is.
Yeah, I think Rick Neuheisel and the Colorado football team have to be thrilled with the position they're in so far. They've trailed so many times in these football games. Now they're being able to play even in this football game and control their play calling the way they want to.
So the punt now for Peach will come from 5 yards in his own end zone. Nebraska looks to have a return on here, but Peach has had a couple blocked. It's going to take a good snap in a dangerous spot. They've been close twice today already. Walker backs up. Joe takes it at the 41, and he's hit immediately. Great coverage down there by Ben Kelly again. 47-yard kick and no return. Kelly's got some serious wheels, doesn't he?
Kelly is a playmaker. There's no doubt about that. Covering punts, returning punts, kickoffs, and boy, when you guys start looking at the media book for Nebraska, you can see a lot of things that happen. Nebraska domination. 4 wins, Colorado and Oklahoma 3 each. This is a team, and that's kind of the problem with Frank Solich. He has to live up to those type of standards here in Nebraska as a first-year coach.
First down at the 42-yard line. Still plenty of time for Nebraska to work here. Play fake. Crouch pulls it down and got about a yard. That's it. And that play's been a waste of time and not get much yardage either. Brandon Southward, the middle linebacker, made the stop.
Same bootleg pass that has not worked all football game for Nebraska. Frank Solich calling the plays for this football team. This situation, they'll signaling men in a 2-minute offense.
Second down 9. Crouch waits, throws, and he throws high. Wiggins was wide open. Marcus Washington, the closest guy, the safety over there. That would have been a disaster for Colorado's secondary had Crouch been able to pull that one down a little bit.
Well, I think just as Eric Crouch waited to the last second before he threw that ball, that's exactly what the Colorado defensive backs thought. He was going to go short with it, and then all of a sudden at the last second he just threw it up in the air, and it really looked a lot more dangerous than it was.
Nebraska not quite in a position here where they can think about using both these downs because there's still 47 seconds left. If they don't pick this up, they're going to have to turn around and kick it right back to Colorado.
Not as dangerous, though, kicking with the middle of the field.
Going to throw a screen pass, first down and more, inside the 40 and down to the 35-yard line. Buckhalter banging around bodies down there, had a lead blocker, and he picked up 22 yards.
Good blocking, you're exactly right. Screen is going to come out right there, sneak out, and you will see the downfield blocking by those wide receivers. Colorado is in a man look, but one guy wasn't covering his man. Kenny Cheatham saved the touchdown.
They just spiked the ball, did Crouch to stop the clock so he can hustle over to get a couple of words with Frank Solich.
Let's take a look at how this play developed. There's the lineman out there. Remember, the ball is completed behind the line of scrimmage, so the lineman can be downfield. Cheatham gets the block, and this was very fortunate. This thing wasn't sprung the whole way for Colorado.
So it's second down at 10 with 33 seconds left at the 36-yard line of the Buffaloes. Davison and Cheatham, the 2 wide men in a 4 wide receiver look. Crouch with flags down, gets it out to Wiggins, the wingback, and he's got a first down out of bounds at the 24. I think Colorado jumped, and so this flag won't mean much as they'll keep the 12-yard play, obviously.
Yeah, not only that, but they were misaligned in the secondary. They had a blitz on. A.J. Kristoff did that time. And the secondary did not find the eligible receivers, and that's an easy decline for Nebraska. Here comes the blitz inside. John Saunders is coming in on the blitz, but that's an easy pitch and catch, and all of a sudden the ball's on a 24-yard line with a timeout left for Nebraska.
Crouch to throw, and again he goes back to Wiggins, and Washington runs him out of bounds, but Wiggins picks up some more positive yardage. Crouch has hit 6 completions, 5 of them to different receivers now.
Eric Crouch is a very solid arm, a very quick release. Same formation again. Look for him to kind of stutter that out route and go long here pretty soon for the touchdown.
Here's Crouch now, a pitch forward to Buckhalter. Little shovel pass got him a first down at the 13-yard line.
18 seconds to go, a first down. They're still able to ground the ball and stop the clock.
John Sanders made the hit. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge will be coming up here in 18 seconds.
Still plenty of time. Ground the ball.
Nebraska will come up. Now there's the whistle, and there's the spike of the football to stop the clock.
See, that keeps the whole field available for Nebraska to throw the football because they still have a timeout available. We saw this 2-minute offense against Texas A&M when Nebraska fell behind 21-7 and did a nice job of basically getting back in that football game. When Bobby Newcomb threw that interception, they were within 7 points of that football game of tying it up.
And now Colorado's defense is going to take a timeout here with 15 seconds to go. And Crouch will have more time to talk to the coaching staff, and we'll have time to tell you about our Home Depot coaches fact. Nebraska head coach Frank Solich, who's in the middle of that pile, served as Nebraska's running back coach 83 to 97. 9 of those 15 years Nebraska led the nation in rushing. The other 6 times they were in the top 4. Of course, Frank After a playing career here under Bob Devaney, he was part of the first recruiting class for Coach Devaney. Went on to become a successful high school coach at Omaha's Holy Name and then at Lincoln Southeast. And then the longtime assistant before taking over as head for the retired Tom Osborne.
He does seem comfortable in the job, though, doesn't he? I mean, we've interviewed him, and that's probably the biggest difference of his job now. Of course, he's got to call the plays and take all the heat, but he also has to do all these lousy interviews every week.
And if he wins today, he'd be very much in that area of Devaney and Osborne with 9 wins. They went 9-2, 9-2-1. He could end up 9-3 and still a bowl game ahead and be right in that same area in his first year as head man. 4 wideouts from the shotgun to the end zone. Cheatham's out there, and he couldn't make the catch. Ben Kelly had nice inside coverage, and that will bring up 3rd down now.
Still 11 seconds to go. They can still throw one more time for the end zone. They tried to get a matchup that time. Kenny Cheatham against Ben Kelly. It's a matchup kind of, athlete, a little taller athlete, right. 6'4" against a little smaller athlete, and that's all the way you want to do it. Ben Kelly's only 5'10".
And Nebraska a little bit confused with their alignment as they finally hustle the right personnel in there. Colorado's trying to do the same thing defensively.
And they forced Colorado into a late substitution and a timeout. Oh, they didn't take it.
3rd down. Crouch with time to the end zone behind Cheatham, who had his man beat, but the throw wasn't on target. Marcus Washington, the safety, was covering, and now out trots the field goal unit.
Had a touchdown. Very well executed play. Everybody did their job at the quarterback that time.
Yep.
You can see it here. That's why I saw Colorado was trying to take a timeout. They had 12 men on the field, but the motion by Nebraska allowed Colorado to stay with the defense.
Chris Brown, 11 of 18 on the year, a 30-yard field goal attempt, and this one up and good. And it comes as the first half expires, and it gives Nebraska the lead 10-7. They lead here at home at the break. Rick Neuheisel's team in it throughout that first half, but the late drive when Nebraska took over at their own 42, they went down and got 3 to lead by 3 at halftime as we head to John Saunders and Todd Blackledge in New York. Guys, halftime, the Cornhuskers lead the Buffaloes of Colorado 10-7. Both teams with one fruitful offensive scoring drive in the first half. One netted Colorado a touchdown. Nebraska's was late in that second quarter that got them the field goal as time expired in the second quarter. The difference in the football game really is Clint Finley's interception and 42-yard return for a touchdown. That's the only touchdown of the day so far for Nebraska. So Rick Neuheisel's troops on the road, and they'll have to kick off to start the second half.
Colorado's defense has done a great job on the Nebraska running game in the first half. If they continue to shut down that running game, they're going to be in this game right to the last drive.
And Colorado's running game's been pretty much in gear today with Marlon Barnes having a good first 2 quarters. Kickoff to start the 3rd. Chevin Wiggins camps under this one at the 2-yard line. Wiggins, great speed. Got hit at the 20 and bounced out to about the 23-yard line. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Dean Blevins back with you in Lincoln. A lot of people asking a lot of questions of you.
Oh, we got some internet stuff.
Especially about this series and this rivalry. Right now, Nebraska's controlled it the last 7 years, but one of our questions that came in is just how storied is this matchup from Tom C. in Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Well, let's remember that Nebraska played Oklahoma, forever in this matchup, and they played since 1927. They've played each other. This is the first year they have. But Colorado and Nebraska started this matchup when the Big 12 was formed. Started out pretty good 4-5, but the last couple of years has been a little bit lopsided. We will see in the future where it goes.
When it was the best was back around 90 when Colorado was trying to win a national championship, of which Nebraska has won 2 for their seniors so far. 2 conference crowns, 21 of those seniors playing their final home game, and they don't lose much, as Gary and I were talking about earlier. 44-5. That goes all the way up to 57-5 if you find some 5th-year seniors in there for the Cornhuskers. So they are not accustomed to losing, especially 3 times in a single season, and they don't want to add to that number here today. And here's Buchalter, who goes out for a pickup of about 5. And our Morgan Stanley Dean Witter halftime statistics. When's the last time you saw Nebraska with 21 yards rushing in a half?
It's another thing they're not accustomed to. You're right, running the ball for only 21 yards. You can see Nebraska has come out in the second half a little bit of purpose, trying to take that ball possession game that Colorado is using and turning it into their favor. They start out running Makovica, and you see they get a first down and a big first down play again, 5 yards.
Makovica to about the 41-yard line. Dean Blevins has had to play in this stadium. It's not an easy place, Dino.
Well, I was lucky. The teams I had around me were a lot better than I was, and so we beat Nebraska 4 straight years. But it is certainly a different feeling out here with the weather warm. Coaches, these two guys are young. They could be competing against each other for a long, long time. Neuheisel, though, is part of that class of 95. And look at Rick's numbers. Number 1 ahead of Butch Davis and some good ones, DiNardo and Bellotti. And by the way, Neuheisel is kind of a mysterious name on that Oklahoma list that's been quiet, guys.
Well, I know that you have been on top of that story, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go through the second half. Late pitch and almost a fumble. In fact, Buckhalter just barely got it back on top of that. They'll say Nebraska ball, and I think give him a first down. Dino,
he fumbled it for a first down. You're right.
Yeah. Dino, back to the question. With John Blake gone now, Rick Neuheisel's the second youngest coach in college football. Who's going to get the Sooner gig?
Well, I'm going to stake your reputation on these next names that I'm going to mention are definite candidates. There's been a lot of reports, a lot of denials. These are the facts. The candidates: Bob Stoops, the Florida assistant under Steve Spurrier; Gary Barnett, Northwestern. They will deny that. That's a fact. Dennis Franchione down at TCU has done a great job, and also Jim Donnan at Georgia. I've spoken to all the players involved except Gary Barnett, and that's your list of finalists.
And everybody's got your cell phone number. We know that. Good job. That'll be something to watch in the next couple of days or weeks if it takes that long. Buckhalter into the opening inside the 40. Can he outrun him to the end zone? Not quite, but he's got it first and goal. Hannibal Navies tracked him down. But finally, that ground game of Nebraska comes up with a big play.
And Brad, it was the fullback, Makovica, that really fit the last block to really spring the tailback that time. Good blocking along the line of scrimmage, but Joel Makovica gets the last block that time on the middle linebacker, and that springs him. Sheldon Jackson had a good block, and you're right. I thought the speed was going to get him into the end zone that time, but Navy's got some wheels, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. For a linebacker, you see Navy's coming into the picture and got him by the back of the pads, brought him down at the 3-yard line, but a career-long 52-yard run.
Think something was mentioned about those 21 yards rushing in the first half?
Could be. I think they had the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter halftime statistics in Frank Solich's hands at intermission. We're going to take a quick break and see if Nebraska can put it in the end zone when we come back. Run up to 79 yards from that position now, the eye back, and you'd think I want it some more maybe if you're in that position. But also remember, Makovica, the fullback, has already broken Tom Rathman's all-time career touchdown mark for a fullback. First and goal at the 3. Here's the toss, Buckhalter, and he's dropped for a yard loss. Justin Bannon is the guy that helped cut him down.
Well, you had it listed there, Brad, as eye back, running fullback, and quarterback, but actually it's just been 3 people that have run the ball. It's been Buckhalter, Makovica, and Crouch. No one else, no substitutes, and that's a little different when you watch people from Nebraska play. Usually we have a lot of guys running the ball, a lot of guys playing an offensive line. They've gone to their money players today, or maybe should I say healthy players today.
Right. Backed up a yard. Second and goal, back at the 5 now. Whew. Man, what a hit. You saw Sykes' numbers in the first half, and he just came in and leveled Crouch. Jay-Sean Sykes is one fast linebacker.
I'll tell you right now, if I'm Frank Solich, I'm putting that bootleg pass away for the game.
Yeah, I'd put it away for the season.
That's right.
At least as long as Sykes is around.
He just gets there before that time. I think it was the tackle or guard that had to come out and block him on the bootleg pass, but he beat him to the back. Now it, quarterback.
Now it looked like an easy situation. First and goal at the 3 has become 3rd and goal at the 12. And a whole different situation. Jackson, the tight end, comes out as a 3rd wide receiver down to the bottom of your screen. Crouch pump fakes one way, throws a screen the other, and he threw it behind his intended receiver, Kelly Cheatham. And that's incomplete. And so what looked like a sure thing to get in the end zone becomes a field goal attempt that won't even be a chip shot.
And if that ball would have been properly thrown to Cheatham that time, that could have scored. It was very well set up. The linemen had their blocks, and he could have creased it right down the middle of the defense and put it in the end zone.
Credit Hannibal Navies for making this a field goal attempt.
Good point. Absolutely a good point.
A 30-yarder. Browns got it to extend the lead, but it could have been a lot worse. You've got to know that Colorado says, hey, it could have been 7 easily. Now they still only trail 13-7. 6,000 on hand and another sellout crowd. Nebraska with the 6-point lead and the high short kick taken by one of the upmen at the 24. It's Tom Ashworth, the starting tight end, who fielded that one and got it out across the 25-yard line.
Boy, is that safely executed by Nebraska. I mean, you know, give the ball at the 25-yard line to Colorado, take Ben Kelly out of the game.
Right.
A big play kickoff return. Nice and high, no return. I'd play safe 25 every time. That'd be perfect.
So Machete comes back out. He has a touchdown pass today. That's the only score. That one was to Javon Green. And now Colorado will have to deal with the noise as well. Fans coming to life for the black shirts. The hit in the backfield and going nowhere is Barnes. Back to the line of scrimmage. Mike Rucker made first contact. And then Eric Johnson, who went out earlier with the bruised left shoulder, also in on the hit. And Barnes gets up limping. That's something that Colorado cannot afford to let happen. 11 minutes left, third quarter. Let's check in on some other injury reports with Dino.
Well, you know, Barnes, as we talked here in the commercial, he's a little nicked up. They checked him after halftime, thought he could come back. Eric Johnson, the linebacker for Nebraska, bruised shoulder, will return. And on offense, there's Shane Cook for Colorado back in after having a shoulder sprain and evaluating.
Charrington, who takes Barnes' spot in the lineup, empties the Colorado backfield. Here comes a blitz on Machete, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. And a flag down in the Colorado backfield. Might have holding on top of the mix.
You know what Cheverini said on that one? He did not see it in the sun. It's probably the last time that the sun was going to be a factor in this football game. Cheverini really didn't hit him in the hands, hit him right in the chest.
Yeah. And he has not caught a pass today, and he came in with 52.
You see the sun direction is going to be right in his eyes. The sun is low right now, and Cheverini runs it. Does not, and actually when he turns around, he goes to the bench and say, it was on me before I actually didn't even see it. And as you're there, you look back into that sun, and that's exactly what Cheverini was looking at.
And the penalty backs him up to the 10-yard line. Fourth Colorado penalty, all on the offense.
You know, Dean said Eric Johnson was going to return. He's returned. He's in there.
Is he ever? Number 27, and he's getting the crowd into it on a 2nd and 25. Machete with pressure, delivers to Green, and he threw a strike. It's not a first down, but it got him back out to the 27-yard line. Defensive leaders for Nebraska. Jay Foreman, part of that group always, who made that last hit. Sweeney had 4 tackles. It was a Finley interception return for a touchdown. That's still only touchdown for the day for Nebraska, and Mike Brown seemingly all over the field again in that first half. So now it's 3rd down, and it's at least manageable after that pass to Green. It's 3rd and 7. Here comes Rucker, and he got him. Fumble. Penalty marker as well. Nebraska's got the football. They got the sack. If the penalty's not on them, they've got the ball too. Kelsey's the guy that covered it.
Well, Mike Rucker went all season, number 84 right here. He's going to get the sack. Kelsey on the other side is going to get the fumble recovery. Those are those 2 defensive ends that we say you have to stop when you play Nebraska. Rucker went all season with no sacks. He's got his 2nd already today. And the other guy, the bookend on the other side, gets the recovery.
You think he's a little bit fired up, those 2 senior defensive ends? They're playing their last game at Tom Osborne Field at Memorial Stadium, and they come up with a fumble recovery.
You have to feel good for Mike Rucker. After being nicked all year, never felt really right all year because of that groin injury. Today, he looks right.
And now Nebraska can add to its lead if they can put it in the end zone. They're going to run the keeper for Crouch, and Crouch gets down near the 14-yard line.
Another fumble for this football team. Rick Neuheisel saying you had somebody open that time. He's right in his face. That is something that's a trademark of Rick Neuheisel. Tough on the quarterbacks. I remember him doing that to Cordell Stewart very many times. He's kind of turned the quarterback coaching over to Carl Doral, but he still gets his 2 cents in.
Rick is not afraid to name names on players. If that's to the media or that's to their face, whatever the case might be. A little bit different in some respects in that capacity. Crouch trying to change things up and running out of time. Nebraska's going to have to take a timeout at the 9-minute mark. They don't want to blow an opportunity here.
Yeah, but I think Buckholter called timeout before the flag went down. There is a flag on the field.
I thought he got it called. He was trying from his eye back spot.
Doesn't look like they gave it to him, does it?
Maybe not.
They marched off 5 yards. And that is something Eric Crouch, I know he's a second-year player in this program, but I thought Buckholter was very aware here, found the second clock. Now watch this. This is the guy who could turn around to the official and call timeout. Was it in time, though?
Maybe not. Guess not. 2nd down 11. Back at the 19-yard line. Crouch got hit as he threw. Lofts one for Jackson. It's intercepted by Ben Kelly. In the end zone, Kelly comes up with a big play to give it back to Colorado. Sean Jarney put some pressure on Crouch on a pass he probably should not have thrown, and Kelly, a guy they think can be an All-American, comes up with an All-American type play.
That is another big stop by this Colorado defense. That's 2 bullets he's dodged. This time Crouch thinks he has the tight end wide open in the end zone, but Kelly kind of baits Crouch, thinking he should be covering the short zone. He just falls back into the throw, and then he has some great hands. I mean, there's a cornerback right there that could play offense very easily, very comfortable with the football in his hands.
His 4th interception of the season.
He's also broken up 19 passes this year, too.
Each team with a couple turnovers now. Charrington stays in there at the tailback spot for Colorado, and he's going to get the call. Bounced out for a couple. Mike Brown comes up to make another tackle along with Jay Foreman as we check in with Dean.
We mentioned Marlon Barnes a moment ago. It's a hamstring, not a pull, but a strain. He has a strained hamstring. He came out when he tweaked it a moment ago. They expect him to go back in. So there's a big difference between a pulled hamstring and a strained hamstring.
And there's a pretty big difference between Barnes and Charrington as well. And
exactly.
Barnes on the cart there. As we approach 8 minutes in the quarter.
Well, I don't know if it's a pull or a strain or what the difference it means, but if you go off on a cart, that's not good news.
Cart is never good news.
Right.
Here comes pressure from Johnson from behind. Machete got away from it, and then Foreman let him have it. Jay Foreman, the senior, playing his last game.
Think Eric Johnson's got some wheels?
Boy, does he ever.
I mean, he came from like 40 yards away, rushing from the backside, gets shoved by the tight end that time. Ashworth just keeps coming and coming and coming. Nice little move right there, a little pirouette, but Foreman says, nah, seen that move. My dad had the same move.
Same spin move.
He did,
was
didn't
better
he?
at it. That's
Didn't
right.
Chuck have that same spin move?
3rd down and 4. 3 wide receivers, all to the near side. And now Stiggers goes back in motion across the field. Machete had that tipped, and it's still caught. And Stiggers has a 1st down. Mike Brown knocks him out of bounds.
Tony Ortiz that time did tip that ball, and that's great concentration on it. Ortiz, the outside linebacker, leapt up and with his left hand just tapped it, but not enough.
7:06 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 13-7, and a 1st down for Colorado. Buffalo's trying to get back in the ball game, trailing by 6. Here's Charrington, and he breaks into the clear.
Whoa.
And he almost opened that thing up. Clint Finley with the stop. But Charrington, we were just talking about him not being Marlon Barnes, so he goes out for 11 yards and a 1st down. 13-7, Nebraska. And we've got a special viewer watching today that I wanted to say hello to, who is spending the holiday weekend, unfortunately, in the hospital instead of at home with the rest of the kids goofing around. My godson, Hayes Burrow, is in for a little bit of a tune-up this weekend. And Hayes, I hope you're feeling better, pal. When you get both wheels on the ground, I'll race you. Charrington out near midfield.
Well, if he's as tough and fast as his daddy, I know he's going to get over that one real quick.
I hope so. And he is a tough little cookie. We wish him the best. 6:35 remaining in the third. Mike Brown in on yet another tackle.
Well, the turnaround with the 2 stops by this Colorado defense, red zone stops again. The interception and holding the field goal on the first time that they were down there has really got this Colorado team turned on.
They are really hanging with it. Here comes Charrington. He must have heard what I said about the comparison between him and Barnes. Mike Brown and Julius Jackson make the stop at number 10 with another long gain, 15 this time, and another Colorado first down.
Amazing.
He comes out a little shaken up.
Yep, he does. Colorado continues to move the ball against this Nebraska defense. A defense that just doesn't look like they can provide the big plays. They got that sack, fumble recovery. That's what you're used to seeing, but they're not stopping the run like they have in past years.
At the 35, it's another first down for Colorado. Machete, straight drop, pressure on the middle, and down he goes. Nice heat from Jason Lohr inside, the freshman defensive lineman, who they think is going to be a good one.
Yeah, Jason Lohr and Jeremy Schlechter, 2 first-year true freshmen. 2 of the 3 true freshmen that are playing on Nebraska, and that gives you an idea how the injury bug has hit this defense also. Those are 2 guys, Schlechter and Lohr, that they wanted the redshirt, get them strong, get them in the weight program, but they had to get them ready and had to play them this year.
Lohr, part of that excellent high school program in Jenks, Oklahoma. They're in the state playoffs tomorrow afternoon. Here's a screen, and overrunning the screen and taken off is Cortland Johnson. That one looked like it was supposed to have a lead blocker in front. Johnson just says, I'm just going to take this thing and take off, and he got 13 yards.
Under 25% conversions in this game. Colorado's had a number of third down conversions. They've got another one to keep this drive alive right here.
3rd and a long 3. I don't think so, but it's very close. Cortland Johnson, the ball carriers, are down to their 3rd tailback. And let's see where they spot this thing. I think he's about a yard short, maybe even more than that.
Well, Cortland Johnson is actually listed number 4 on their depth chart. Dwayne Charrington, Damian Barton were both backing up Marlon Barnes. So they got a lot of tailbacks. You never get enough tailbacks in football.
Is that Eric Johnson? I guess so. Somebody with a bad shoulder, and he was the guy we had a report on earlier about that problem. 4th and short. And first down, a tough run. He didn't get it by much, but Johnson off that left side, all he had to do was get to the 25-yard line, and he got over it. Let's check in with Dean Blevins.
Guys, Fred Barnes has twisted an ankle, and they were looking at x-rays a moment ago on the sideline. He hopes to be able to return. Marlon Barnes, now there's the x-ray of his foot. Sorry I'm out of breath, but it just proves I'm working.
We're going to have to get a chest x-ray on
well, you. And I ran down the golf cart, looking to play some golf, but found Marlon Barnes. He says, no, they told you wrong. It's not a hamstring. I have cramps. Tell them I'll be back.
All right. Now Charrington's in there on the 11th play of the Colorado drive. Machete completes it to Stiggers. And down near the 18-yard line. Pickup of about 6. Ralph Brown made the tackle.
We have featured those defensive ends for Nebraska a few times, but you know, for the most part, those tackles, Cook, number 72, watch the job he does this time on Chad Kelsey to the outside. Stones him at the line of scrimmage, nowhere to go, quick 5-step drop. That's what you have to do. Keep the defense off balance with 3, 5, and bootlegs from your quarterback.
Chiaverini in motion, still without a catch today. Here's a counter. Charrington, he's going to be very close to another first down. Needed about 4, and he got at least 3. Tony Ortiz, the linebacker, made the stop. I think he's a little bit shy of the first down. About a half yard yet to go. Just outside the 15 is where they spot it. Here's a 3rd down conversion coming up again, Gare. It's a short yardage one, and they got 2 tight ends in there.
No matter what, the Colorado offense is controlling the line of scrimmage in this football game and thereby controlling the clock.
13th play of the drive. This thing has seemed like it's taken the whole quarter. They play fake it. Machete wide open to his fullback. Touchdown. Andy Peak. Peaks in the end zone. And Colorado's tied it up.
Nice call, huh?
Gutsy call.
I think they would have gone for it on 4th down had they not made it, so they really had 2 downs to pick it up. Andy Peak, the fullback, is going to slide right out in the flat right here to the outside. A little play action pass. Peak, a true freshman also for Colorado, just moved over to fullback during this fall season. He was a linebacker until halfway through this season.
Rick Neuheisel said the reason for the switch is he gives us some run around ability. Well, he ran around the secondary and he ran it in the end zone. And now Colorado in front with 2:11 to go, 3rd quarter. Andy Peak, only his 2nd reception of the year. This one for a touchdown. He had a 43-yarder against Kansas State.
That's A.J. Kristoff, the defensive coordinator for the Buffs today, and those 2 stops in the red zone has really got this team turned around. A great drive after the interception from Ben Kelly.
Joe Walker, dangerous return man from the 3-yard line. Cut down, though. Great job on the special teams down there. Nick Ziegler let him have it as he crossed the 20, got out to about the 23.
Brad, we saw the spanking of Machete when he got sacked on that play when someone was open. Okay, there's a little bit of the tough part right there. Now, though, when things go right, you got to come back and give a little sugar. See, you got that offensive line. Machete on that drive went 4 for 4 after he got kind of a lamb-based, and he said, "I'm looking for my quarterback, looking for my quarterback." Give him a little sugar. That's what you got to do.
Makovica stood up at the line of scrimmage. They're not giving Makovica any kind of room. Sykes in on another tackle. We're seeing 2 of the fastest linebackers, at least in this conference, if not in all of college football. Sykes is one. Johnson on the other side. 80-yard drive, 13 plays. An excellent drive. Mixed it up beautifully. Had some big runs by Charrington in relief of Barnes. The hookups from Machete to Green, and then finally to Peak.
And remember, on that drive, at one time it was 2nd and 18 or 19 yards, and they picked it up. 2 plays, a pass.
Time for the Nebraska offense to answer now. 2nd down and 9 with 1:20 left, 3rd quarter. That one just never looked right. They tried a little fake on an inside trap and then tried to have Crouch sneak off from that, and Colorado wasn't biting. Sykes made another tackle.
Only 1 busted play by the defense for Colorado. That was the long run on the pitch play early in the 2nd half here.
Right.
But for the most part, the defense for Colorado has been sound. They haven't been confused, and they haven't been fooled throughout this whole football game. Deshaun Sykes is he's an unbelievable football player, isn't he?
Looks like he's the real deal.
He really does.
3rd down coming up. 3rd down and 7. See what Eric Crouch can come up with. He's got 3 wide receivers. Looks to his left. Now looks down the middle. Flags down. And that one tipped away. I think there's going to be a holding call that'll probably be declined and force another punt coming up. He had too much time to throw, I believe.
Too much time and nobody open.
That's a bad night game tomorrow.
Coverage downfield was very good that time. Crouch had time to throw the ball, but nobody to throw it to.
Still a discussion going on.
Well, you're right, Brad. There was at first a holding penalty on Nebraska, but then a very late flag was thrown, and I think there's going to be another personal foul tacked onto this, so it might be a dead ball foul, marched off, and still 4th down.
On the offense.
That'll be declined.
Makes it 4th down. The dead ball, unsportsmanlike, will be administered from the spot of the foul. 4th down.
That's why the options they were giving Colorado took so long.
Yeah, see, they will march it off now, and then still it'll be 4th down.
So they're going to gain some field position out of this, if nothing else. And it also will open things up for a possible punt return by Ben Kelly, who has not been able to shake loose.
Well, I think it's actually going to go the other way, Brad. I think it was against Nebraska, the dead ball foul, and we marched back from the spot. So Colorado is going to gain some
right,
great
that's what
field.
I'm talking
about. You got it.
Yep.
15 yards. They're going to start marching right now.
And that's going to put the punter almost at his own goal line to have to kick this thing away.
That's why they took the penalty. A dead ball foul was explained to Colorado, saying still going to be 4th down. You don't have to decline it.
Exactly. LaFleur will now have to stand in his own end zone. And Ben Kelly, they give him a crease. Look out. Nice kick, but returnable. Kelly camps under it at the 39. They pitch it on an end around. And they've got a convoy in front of Lewis. Down the sideline, still on his feet. And he goes down to the 23-yard line. A gutsy end around on a punt return by Michael Lewis off the pitch from Ben Kelly. A 48-yard punt, a 39-yard return.
I guess when you have another week to practice, you can put some stuff in your game plan. And Rick Neuheisel waited for the proper time to call this. You're going to see it. This is the guy that's going to get the ball way back there. There's Lewis coming back. Kelly's going to go. Now watch him pitch it right here. And then the wall is just set up. Michael Lewis turned around. He had about 6 buffs in front of him. And Nebraska's very fortunate this didn't go to the house.
The gutsiest part of that was a pitch, not a handoff. They got away with it. First down at the 23 with a 1-point lead, and now they've got the ball back. Charrington hit by Kelsey. Kelsey lost his headgear, but he made the tackle. And in Kelsey's case, I'm not sure there's much difference in hardness between the head and the headgear. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet most valuable players of the game for each team. In recognition of those athletes, Chevrolet will make a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund. Third quarter comes to a close with Colorado in front and having the ball. They'll have it on a second down when we start the fourth in a minute.
Set up a reverse on a punt return. Here's Kelly right here. Now watch. When he pitches this ball, look at the way Nebraska has been suckered with that wall behind. When Lewis comes around, he's got clear sailing to this side. A perfectly executed reverse by Colorado.
Looked like a checkerboard, all red on one side and all black on the other. Second down at 10. Johnson in there at the tailback spot. Tight end Graham in motion. Here's the pitch. Johnson wants to throw back to the quarterback. Lofts one out. Machete makes the catch, but it only got him about 3 yards. Let's get an update on Marlon Barnes, who's trotting back out there, Dean.
Yes, he is. It is those are cramps that he told me he's stretched out. He expects to be able to go as long as he can. He'll come back over if he cramps up again. They'll stretch it out. Gary, you know, risk and reward. I don't know about the reward for the risk on that play.
Well, you're right. That time Nebraska stayed at home. If that ball would have been thrown properly, that could have been picked off and gone the other way.
Big third down for the Nebraska defense. They need a stop here with Colorado leading by a point. Third down 8. Chiaverini in motion. They'll keep it on the ground. Penalty markers down. Barnes back in there and paying the price. Jay Foreman, Eric Johnson let him have it.
Very interesting call here from Frank Solich. They've stopped and it'll be 4th and about 2 for a first down. But will Nebraska take the holding penalty this time and push him back out of field goal range and give him third down try again?
That's what's going to be discussed right now with Chad Kelsey.
Yeah. And there's no Tom Osborne to make this decision right now. See, this is really what you get paid for when you're a coach, because if it doesn't work out, everybody's going to want to know why afterwards you gave him another third down try.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. Repeat third down.
So it's going to be third down, and let's see, it's from the spot of the foul, so we'll have to wait until they finally camp out at the 35-yard line.
See, it's one thing sitting up here and saying what the strategy should be, because we don't have to answer all the questions afterwards.
Well, if Colorado doesn't pick up this third down, it's a great call. If they somehow zip one down the middle, and even if they don't get a first down, get a field goal out of it, then you don't look so good.
Right. Or a penalty is also possible. A defensive penalty would be an automatic first down, like a pass interference.
You're going to know in a second whether they pick up this first down, because the crowd is really coming to life at the 13:55 mark of this football game. Machete is swarmed under by Rucker. The ball was loose, too. Did they blow it dead or not? Nebraska football. Mike Rucker saves his best for last, and then Slechta comes up with a fumble recovery.
Can't blame Machete for fumbling that one. Here's Rucker right here, but watch Kelsey drop, and they'll bring Shaw outside. It's a zone blitz by the Nebraska defense. Kelsey, number 57, will drop out right there. He comes back. That's that zone blitz. That confuses the pass protection. All of a sudden a fumble, and a great decision by Frank Solich.
You saw Rucker Yeah, that's right. A great call by the coach. And now it's Terrell Buckhalter, who got about 4 up the middle. And that replay right behind those balloons that are anchored to that upright. You saw Rucker just swallow the quarterback. There they are. And right now, Machete's probably got a few of those in his head.
Sheldon Jackson is just limping off the football field. The speed tight end for the Nebraska football team. Behind by 1 point in this game. They need all their playmakers, and Jackson is one of them.
Wistrom comes in to take his spot at tight end. Gibson and Wiggins are the wide receivers. They'll pitch it. Buckhalter, boys, he met in a hurry. Got back to the line of scrimmage. Brandon Southward in on the stop along with Justin Bannon.
It has been nearly impossible for Nebraska to get outside this Colorado defense. They've tried to run the option to get outside. They've tried to run the bootleg to get outside. They've tried to run the pitch to get outside. They can't do it. Trying to run the ball between the tackles hasn't been working as well, so it looks like the passing game, and Eric Crouch is going to have to do it in the pocket.
The option game's been stuck in neutral all day. 3rd down and 6. Wants to throw it to Wiggins and does in the flat. Got around one man. Weasels his way through, and he's got a 1st down and then some. Wiggins down to the 30-yard line. There was not much of a crease. He tried to pick up his blocker over there and did so just enough to go 24 yards for a 1st down.
And I think you're right in choosing the word weasel, because that's exactly what he did. He weaseled his way out of it. This play should not have worked. Defensed properly. 3 guys there. Wiggins makes 2 guys miss, and then gets into the secondary. That's a beautiful play by a great athlete who's out here making plays to keep this drive alive.
To the 29, 1st down, and now Buckhalter.
Still nothing up there, is there?
Nope. Couple yards maybe. Sykes, just part of all those white jerseys.
Sykes and Washington.
How'd he do it? Colorado had about 3 guys in proper position. Was one of those kind of bubble screens that a lot of teams are using right now. Puts them in motion. Wiggins catches the ball. You see the blocking downfield, which is legal as long as the ball is completed behind the line of scrimmage. Schwab comes out to kick out, and then Wiggins just makes a few wiggles.
The Wiggins wiggle and weaseled his way for that 1st down is what we talked about. 2nd and 8. Now it's the option. Buckhalter got a great block and got down to the 20. I think he's about a yard short of the 1st down.
It's called the speed option to the outside that time. They have not been able to do it faking the ball to the fullback, so they just put Makovic on the outside player that time and ran the down the line true option. Everybody thinks Nebraska has a very simple offense, just grind it out, but they have as many plays as anybody's playbook.
Yes, they do.
Sheldon Jackson is still not in the football game.
Makovic, the lead man, is just going to be crouched straight ahead. 1st down, Nebraska with 10:42. They'll move the chains, and they're down in the scoring territory of Colorado's inside the 20. Frank Solich in command on the sideline. His team looking for its 9th win of the year.
Think about the pressure on these Nebraska seniors. No one before them had even lost the game for so many years. Now the last time they played here, they had lost the game. They come back 3 weeks later, and they're trailing in the 4th quarter, 14-13.
Sheldon Jackson and Tracy Wistrom both in there now. A 2 tight end set. A lone wideout is Wiggins. Crouch was under his guard instead of his center there for a second, wasn't he? The pitch to Buckhalter. You ever have that happen to you? Let's check in.
Actually, I have, to tell you the truth.
Let's check in with another quarterback, Dean Blevins.
Well, I'm pretty slow. It took me a while to get over to find out. Sheldon Jackson's nails are fine. His ankle is not. And he is going to go back into the ballgame. He has re-aggravated an ankle injury, guys, that he had earlier. But again, he tells people on the sideline that he will be re-entered in the game. As there he is.
He's limping out again, Dean. So he's definitely having some trouble with it. Watch Eric Crouch now. After he calls the audible, he's going to set up. Oh, I thought he was going to set up behind his guard. He was just taking his time. It sure looked like it for a second. 2nd down and 8. Makovic got about 3. 3rd down, an important one coming up at the 10-minute mark. Makovic, part of that Cornhusker pride, one of those former walk-ons, a guy that played 8-man high school football and has been called by Frank Solich to us as good a fullback as there's ever been here, and there have been a long line of them.
Well, you wonder if Joel Makovic at halftime fired off one of those speeches like he did against Missouri when he fired up the team. They were losing 13-6. Joel Makovic talked, Frank Solich talked, and you wonder coming out at halftime if something like that didn't happen again.
3rd down and 5. Makovic, the lone setback. They pump to him, come back the other way to Davison on a screen. And it's going to be short of the first down, though, I think, by about 1.5 yards. Crouch throws that pass. A guy that maybe would have been throwing the pass had he stayed healthy this year is with Dean on the sideline.
That's right, Bobby Newcomb, the star quarterback early. Now he's out. We'll get back to his injury in a moment. It's 4th and 1. What do you do here?
Kick a field goal.
He looks over. Did you see that? How do you think the game is going from your perspective?
Right now, we need to play a little bit better offensively, I think. But I think our defense is playing extremely well and keeping us in the ball game. And we're still putting points on the board here and there. And our defense been getting great turnovers.
Stay with us.
Chris Brown, did he miss it? Nope, he got it. 25-yard field goal. It's a good thing it wasn't much farther than that, or it might have tailed off outside the upright. But he's got the field goal to give Nebraska the lead back. 16-14 now.
Hey, Dino, ask Bobby what's wrong with that red zone defense. 4 times they've been inside the 20-yard line, 3 field goals and a turnover.
Yours.
So far, we've gotten 3 field goals, and we got the lead right now, and mainly because our defense has been giving us good field position throughout the game.
Yeah, now, you know they taught you early in football, but if you score by 7s instead of 3s, it gets bigger.
Yeah, but anytime you're in the red zone, you got to get points somehow.
That's right. Hey, let's talk about you and your condition. Posterior cruciate over here. How is that injury, and you expect to perhaps be ready for the bowl game?
Yeah, hopefully. I think doctor said a week from Monday I'll start running, and right now all the swelling has gone out of it, and my leg has definitely got a lot stronger than it was a couple weeks ago.
I've got to ask you, Crouch has played great. Some speculation that he would be quarterback, and you're so good you might have to go back and play some other position. What do you think?
You know, I was a starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. During spring ball, I won the job, and I'm sure that the way coach has played it over the years, that you don't lose your position due to injury. But if it needs be, then I can play any position on the field. And I think I proved that last year.
Sounds like a quarterback to me, guys, but he'll be a winner wherever he plays.
You got that right.
Well, Bobby Newcomb is right. He did win that job over Frankie London and Eric Crouch in spring ball this year. And when he's healthy, he's some player and not option boy.
Well, we saw him against Texas look great. And then the injury problems not only at his position but the I-back spot as well, and that's hampered the first season as the head coach for Frank Solich, that's for sure. So now Machete, who's thrown 2 touchdown passes but also has had some problems holding on to the football.
Right.
Comes out at the 20.
Superman couldn't have held on to a couple of those fumbles.
That's true. Down to 8:43 left and Nebraska back in front. Barnes found an opening. And did you see him drape both hands around that football? He's thinking, don't ever let me be the guy to give it up. He got about 8 yards, and he's got 84 on the day.
I think if you're Colorado right now, you look at that scoreboard, 8.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. A field goal could steal this win for you. You've been able to control the ball, running the ball. I think you like your position. You run it, you move the chains, try to get down to that 3-minute mark, kick a field goal, and put the pressure back on Nebraska.
2nd down, a long yard. And again, puts both hands around the ball. I don't think he got the first down. It's ripped out of there by Mike Brown, but they're going to blow it dead. And it's going to be a 3rd and short after we check in with John Saunders in New York. John?
The Burger King play of the day? Well, Ricky Williams could be no one else. 60 yards on this run, and very appropriate that he busts off a big run to break the record of Tony Dorsett. He's now college football's all-time leading rusher, one of 17 records that Ricky Williams owns, and this 60-yard run is the Burger King play of the day. Brad.
All right, John, what a way to break a record. 3rd down, less than a yard for Colorado. Barnes got the first down, and Joe Walker saved what could have been a huge gain.
Tell you, Marlon Barnes might be having some cramps, but he took it up in there that time, trusted his offensive line, wasn't peeking around to see if there was a hole that time. He just took it up in there as hard as you could and trusted that there would be something there.
It's amazing how you can go from 76,000 people making so much noise to being so quiet in here after this first down run. Out to the 34-yard line. As we approach 7 minutes, Colorado trying to play from behind, and as Gary said, steal one here in Lincoln. Steve Warren makes a tackle on Barnes. Foreman also on the bottom of the pile, and only about a yard gain that time. For the first time since 1957 that these two teams come into this matchup with 6 combined losses. Now think about what you were doing in 1957.
Right.
I wasn't even watching football. Well, maybe I was, but I don't remember it.
That's the standard that has been set around here.
Machete's perfect in the second half, Gary. 5 for 5. He's going to try to make it 6 for 6. Loads, goes long. Chiaverini's out there. And a penalty marker down. Mike Brown back there in double coverage with Irwin Sweeney.
Could be on Chiaverini that time.
I think it might be.
He ran right over Mike Brown to try to get that ball.
Colorado's already had one offensive pass interference
going to go down
today.
the deep post this time. Mike Brown, number 21, stays at home, turns around, and well, I don't know. This could go either way. It looked like Mike Brown kind of ran into Chiaverini, to tell you the truth.
Remember, there was an offensive pass interference on Green earlier, and now one on Chiaverini. You don't see that call twice made in the same game very often.
I'm not so sure I agree with that one. Mike Brown never really saw the ball. He was just retreating, and Chiaverini was right on it.
Dean, you were right by Rick Neuheisel there.
Yeah, Rick was livid with the field judge here. So is Chiaverini. Chiaverini's saying right now, Coach, this guy said it was defensive pass interference and he was overruled, and that's what Rick Neuheisel is livid about.
I think that's exactly the way I saw it. When the flag first came out, it was going to be interference against Nebraska, and I think the crowd helped that call too a bit for Nebraska. The home field advantage. Deep throw, underthrown. Neuheisel doesn't like it at first. Then he sees the flag and he says, oh, I might have something here. But then it goes against him again.
He got something he wasn't looking for. Second down and 24. Play action. Screen out to Green. And a couple blockers in front. And Sweeney brings him down at the 30-yard line. He got 10 of it back. Still going to be third down and a mile here. Third and about 15 upcoming as we're under 6 minutes.
Well, third down has not been good to this Nebraska team. Remember, Brad, A&M, 81-yard touchdown pass, 71-yard run by their fullback. Third and 21 against Texas with that pass on Sweeney. And in Kansas State, Michael Bishop, 6 for 12 and third down. This is huge, though. Third and 15.
3 wideouts, including Chiaverini, who's in a slot to the right. Machete loads and fires, complete. It'll take a lot of dancing, though, by Stiggers to get there. It was Chad Kelsey way back in pass coverage that made the tackle, and it's fourth down and about 6. That kid's been all over the field.
He really has. This is his last football game here, and he's making the most of it, isn't he?
Sure is. Hunting time for Colorado. They've got to play the odds here, not try to pick up 7 yards on fourth down.
Now, the way that defense has been playing, they're going to get the ball back.
Nick Peach is who you're looking at the top of your screen to punt. That kick hangs in the air, and it will take a Colorado bounce at least, and down to about the 23-yard line. That's where Nebraska takes over with a 2-point lead when we come back. Times you ask your biggins to go win you a football game with 4:38 left.
Yeah, and their center right there, Josh Heskew, number 59. You know, at this time of the game, 4 minutes to go in the football game, got the lead. He's a senior. He said, I've been playing this game since I was 6 years old, and now I've come to the realization that I might be done. And he said, you know, I got to go out into the real world now, and I'm scared to death. Well, 4.5 minutes to go, a 2-point game. Keep the streak or start a new streak alive. Today, right there, that's being scared to death.
He'll be the anchor, and he'll snap it to Crouch with a first down at the 23. If they can get something going on the ground, they can win the game. Makovica will be the guy to start it off for him. Hannibal Navies made the tackle. Makovica got about 4.
That offensive line right now is saying run the ball. We'll win the game for you. Heskew is going to get the block on the nose tackle. He's going to get help from Sherman up front, and they're going to run it right up the gut. Jolch, Heskew, and Schwab. There are 3 seniors on this football, actually 2 juniors and a senior, but they were redshirted in '95 for the national championship. They were backups last year. This is their team this year. They do not want to go out losers.
Second down, the option keeper. Crouch didn't get much at all. Terrell Cade's done a nice job from his linebacker position with 3:55 left. A third down coming up. Don't forget, tomorrow on ABC, the Skins game from Rancho La Quinta Country Club, California. Greg Norman's going to be there, back with a bad shoulder. And all the big names hit the links in the richest 2-day event in the history of golf. Starts tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Let's look at the other line of scrimmage now, though, for Colorado. There's Aaron Marshall. He's been part of the 3 losses. He says, my only goal left in college football is to beat Nebraska.
It's a big hurdle. They're 2 points down. They've got to get the ball back. Shovel pass, Buckhalter. And he's short at the 30, and it was Terrell Cade that made the hit. He spun out there, and it's going to bring up 4th down and about 3.
That was a wonderful play by Cade. The play was set up fairly well.
So now it's punting time for Nebraska.
And they don't think there's pressure. If it's not a BCS game, there's pressure out here.
Absolutely. Under 3 minutes left. And a punt coming up in a moment. In punt formation now with 3:09 left, and he knows that if he hits a stray one, the guy on the other end could maybe end this game in a hurry.
Nebraska, one of the few teams that do not use wide hawks. They keep everybody tight.
LaFleur, great kick.
Jeez.
Kelly way back at the 13-yard line, but it does give him room to run. Nope, it didn't give him room to run. Great kick by LaFleur. It'll be Colorado on offense after a 58-yard punt when we come back.
Yeah, well, right now, believe me, for him, he feels like he could walk on water.
I guess. 58-yard punt has buried Colorado inside its own 10-yard line. Barnes trying to get to the corner. Did, and got out near the 20-yard line. That's a good first down run by Marlon Barnes, who's been suffering from cramps today and had some injury problems all season long, but that's a good start to this drive. You talk about seniors, 21 of them, many of them former walk-ons. Jay Foreman's had a great game today. Chris Brown's had some big field goals. Sheldon Jackson's been limping a little bit. Kelsey's been all over the field. You go down the list, 21 guys playing a final time here on Osborne Field. And a throw out Javon Green, and Green is close to another first down. 9-yard pickup.
I think Rick Neuheisel and the Colorado team have this football game exactly where they want it right now. 2.5 minutes to go, down by less than 3 points. If they kick a field goal, they can steal this game. They won't even let Nebraska back on the football field if they kick it with 4 or 5 seconds left in the game. And they have a rhythm in their passing game now, and they're still being able to run the ball. Frank Solich has to be looking around. You know, both of these teams have looked at this game. The motto for both teams have been the drive towards 99 begins with this game, and whoever wins, it's going to be a big step towards 99.
Good point. It is a first down. 2:39 left at a first down left. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, and Dean Blevins with you. Mike Machete perfect this half. He'd love to keep that statistic going in his favor on this drive. And Kelsey jumped, but was he drawn offside by Shane Cook? Flags all over the place. We'll find out.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So Shane Cook came out of his stance a little bit, drew Kelsey offside, and that'll make it 1st and 15.
Brad, you know, we also talked about this being the game to start the drive towards 99, but for the loser of this game, that's where the pressure comes in, because these two coaches are going to be on the hot seat. These are programs where their alumni are used to winning 9, 10, 11 games of football season, and when you don't, you have to answer questions.
The difference with Frank Solich and Rick Neuheisel, they took over powerful programs. They had nowhere to go but down.
That's
almost.
Right.
1st and 15. Thinking blitz, bringing blitz. Machete in trouble. Runs up the middle. Got a little help from the umpire who got in the way of one would-be tackler, and he got out to the 34-yard line.
He just ran around Jason Lohr that time, number 70. It was a zone blitz again, the one they had success with early in this second half. And Machete came out of the pocket. You'll see number 70 just drop back in the zone. Now watch Machete. He runs around him like he's a fence post. That's a good thing. When you run the zone blitz, you drop a defensive tackle. The bad thing is they can't do anything back there.
2 minutes left, 2nd and 7. Machete. Look out. Kelsey got him from behind. What a game this kid has had. The 6th sack of the day for the Cornhuskers.
Kelsey beat 2 people that time. Ashworth and the offensive tackle, I think, Shane Cook.
Timeout, Colorado, with 1:51 left. Nebraska's defense trying to win this one. 3rd down and 15 for Colorado.
They still have 2 downs. They've only got 1 timeout left. They will not punt the ball.
So they don't need it all right here. They've just got to get some of it. They'd like to get it all in one play if they could. Machete steps up, waits, fires. Shiverini in and out of his hands. Incomplete. It would have been a 1st down. Jay Foreman let him have it. Shiverini saying, I made the catch, and the turf caused the ball to come out. And now it is 4th down.
Yeah, Brad, in that situation, if you're a quarterback, you don't only think plays, but you think players. He went to his clutchest player on the football team, did Machete, and Chuck Foreman saw his son, the middle linebacker, Jay Foreman, matched up with the wide receiver.
And Jay just pounded that 44 in his chest and then pointed at his dad after that play. Here's the ball game for Colorado. Machete fires it. Javon Green had hit his hand. He couldn't hold it. Ralph Brown was covering.
Tell you, Machete threw both of these last 2 balls, one slightly behind Shiverini and one slightly early to Green on the last play. Here's the last play now. 4th down. The ball is there just before Green can turn around. When I looked at it in live, I thought the ball was more than halfway there, and Green turned around and really never had a chance to adjust for the pass. That's how fine it is to throw the football. That fine line between success and an incomplete pass.
Machete only 2 incompletions this half, but they came on that last drive and those last 2 plays. And now Nebraska can run it. Colorado can only stop it one more time, which they do right here with 1 minute and 37 seconds left.
If you would have told me Nebraska would end this day with total offense under 250 yards, I would have told you they're going to lose.
Right. Almost dead even.
This is a team that in 1997 averaged running the ball 392 yards a game. This year they're only running at 265 yards, but that's still best for 4th in the country.
That's right. Let's check in with Dino.
Guys, I tell you what, it's one of the things that's obvious about Nebraska, even when they don't have a typical Nebraska year, their fans are incredible. Played in front of a lot of them. Gary, you've seen played in front of a bunch of them. None better than the University of Nebraska. They are the most loyal fans you ever see. They'll travel. They'll stay with their team through thick and thin. And as a former player, I can tell you, they show respect to the other team, which a lot of schools don't. I give credit to, say, Texas A&M and a couple of others in that category, but Nebraska is #1 almost in this category as well.
You want to talk about putting a period on that. How about when Ricky Williams helped lead the upset that snapped the long home winning streak? They gave him a standing ovation, and they were chanting his name at the end of the ball game, and it was Nebraska fans that were doing it. That is classic.
But let's be honest, there's not been a lot of thin around here for a while. There's been a lot of thick, not much thin.
Good point. Crouch, dangerous run there, and then he got himself out in the open field, and that's when the ball can come loose sometimes. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 5.
Colorado is still scheming, believing they're going to get the football back on the sideline. Their offense is huddled together. They're at the with their coach. They're deciding what they'll do if they get the ball back with 10 or 15 seconds. Nebraska will take the clock all the way down after this play and then decide whether they should go for a field goal to make it a touchdown game.
Hafke and Huygens bring in the play from the bench. And as Gary said, they use all the clock they can. You see the play clock. At the very last moment, Crouch keeps it. I don't think he got the 1st down. He's about a yard short, I believe. This brings up an interesting scenario. You try to get a first down and put the game away. Do you go for a field goal to put yourself in front but give the team the ball back?
Well, they'll take a timeout probably with 1 second to go here if they do go for it. You can see the numbers. Nebraska will get their 9th game this season. That's pretty good.
There's that sack total and interception total Gary talked about early. Those are the up-to-date figures with what's going on today. 4th down and a yard. Crouch. Did he get there? I think so. And that will do it. As Josh Heskew, the center, you just saw him. He's going to help up his lineman and his quarterback. And that says it all. First down, Nebraska. And this one will go down in the win column, Nebraska.
Right. I think this is the best I have seen Colorado play in a couple of years. They competed the whole game. They ran, played great defense. I think as they get healthy and they get older next year, Colorado will be back.
Nebraska survives. They do win their 9th game for the 30th straight year, at least 9 victories in a season. There will be brighter days, though, for the Buffaloes of Colorado. A hard-fought contest. Nebraska wins it by 2.
Frank Solich. And Frank, we were talking before we came back on the air that this has been a year that's been tough in many ways.
It's been real tough. Certainly the pressure was there on our football team all season long. I think they responded tremendously well. I really appreciate everything that they've gotten done this year. Seems like every time we stepped on the field with another game, we were getting everybody's best shot, of course, because of what's happened in the past. I think these guys responded really well, and I'm proud of them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And, you know, these guys, as Michael Rucker comes over, guys, this is a club now with Texas A&M losing today to Texas. That opens up the possibility of Nebraska going down and playing in the Cotton Bowl. But anyway, Michael Rucker, you've had a long, tough year, but 5 years, 3 national championships, and you got your only 2 sacks of the year today.
Yeah, it's been a rough year for me and for the team, too. And I'm just glad to get that monkey off my back and had a good game. The whole team had a good game, and I just thank the Lord for it.
Thanks. Congratulations.
Thanks
Terrific career. 3 national championships. Not bad.
It's not bad. A lot of people can't say they've done that, but we got that merchandise.
Not many. Back to you guys.
Not many people can say they're the Chevrolet most valuable player of their team either, but you are, Mike. A Chevrolet donation will be made to each school's general scholarship fund for both Michael Rucker and Jay Sean Sykes, who was all over the field today. They'll reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter century. 16-14 the final. Nebraska and Frank Solich gets his 9th win in his first season. For Dean Blevins and Gary Danielson, Brad Nessler, have a good weekend, everybody. John and Todd are coming up next.